Good morning. Today I wanted to do a little tutorial on PowerPoint for teachers and also for Teachers Pay Teachers creators if you're looking to get into that. I've been creating for Teachers Pay Teachers for a long time, since about 2014. And I've learned so much about the do's and don'ts of PowerPoint. So I'm going to give you some tips. These will also work for Google Slides or Keynote if you want to use that. These sound like common sense, and I'm sure some of them you'll already know, but some of them I'm going to say I didn't know. And they're still like in my store on Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm constantly updating and I'm going back to look at things even just as recently as like 2020. And I have all these products that have, like I did one the other day, an update. It had 16 different fonts in the presentation. Like that's just way too many fonts and it's not necessary. So I wanted to go over some do's and don'ts of PowerPoint and kind of show you how to do a few simple things that can make your PowerPoints, either for your students in your classroom or if you're starting on Teachers Pay Teachers, make them pop and make them much, much cleaner and easier for students. So we're going to start with PowerPoint. I'm just going to open up a simple blank presentation. And it will default, close that. It will default automatically to a 9:16 or 16:9 orientation, and that's what you want. If you are designing something to be presented in a classroom, you want to use the full screen. So that would be 16:9. If you are doing a worksheet, you can create worksheets in PowerPoint, and I much prefer that to Microsoft Word or any other like worksheet creator. I have used Adobe InDesign. That one is way complicated. You can actually create worksheets in PowerPoint. If you go to Design and Slide Size, you can change. See, it's defaulting to the widescreen, which is what we want. We're going to do a presentation today, but if you customize your slide size and you just type in 8.5 by 11, you're going to get, and you want to do just maximize is fine, and you're going to get a worksheet size. But we're not going to do that today, so I'm going to just go back to that. That'll be a video for another day. I think this is going to be a series that I would like to do because I see so many new sellers on Teachers Pay Teachers and likely teachers in the classroom. There's so many little things you can tweak to make your presentations just pop so much more. So here we are, we're on a blank screen. First thing I always do is delete this template. I have never used this. I'm sure there are people out there who love it, but I am not one of them, so gone. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do, I always start my presentations this way, is I'm gonna start with a very simple, thin border. Earlier in my Teachers Pay Teachers career, I would find these fantastic flashy borders that on Teachers Pay Teachers that were so cute, and I was so excited about them. And now I look at them when I go back to update a product and I just cringe because they are way too, just too busy. So, but you do want a border because it'll help bring everything on the slide together. So we're going to do that by going to Insert, Shape. And every time for me, I always do a rectangle. And we're just going to draw a simple rectangle. And then I like to fill my rectangle with white. And the reason I do that is so that I can make the outside of this, behind this box, a color. And then I'm going to make my shape, or my outline, a little thicker. You don't want to make it too thick. That's probably too thick. I like around 3 or 4.5. And then I'm also going to change this. It defaults to this dark blue, so I'm going to change that to black. And then we need to make sure this is aligned. So we're going to go to the Home tab, go to Arrange, Align Middle, and that will align it vertically, and then Align Center. Make sure your shape is selected in order for this to work. So now we have our basic beginning PowerPoint slide. Now, the next thing I do, if you are selling on Teachers Pay Teachers, if this isn't just for your classroom, you're going to want to put your copyright. So the way that I do that, because I don't want to go on every single slide and do my copyright and add my copyright, and I also later on may update this, and I want to be able to change this copyright information quickly if I'd like to do that. So this is going to be a little bit advanced, and I didn't know how to do this until relatively recently, but if I go to View and Slide Master, and I want to just go, this is the main Slide Master. So this is going to show this is whatever I put on here is going to be on every single slide in my presentation. So if I put a picture of a jaguar on here, a jaguar will be on every slide of my presentation in the exact same place and the same size. So again, I don't like all this fancy stuff on here, so I'm going to highlight all of that and delete it. And now I'm going to insert my copyright. So to do that, I'm just going to do a text box. And if you do parentheses, C in parentheses, it'll automatically do a copyright. And then I do my name, my store name, just Mrs. Reader Pants. And then I do the year. Some people, this is kind of controversial. Some people like to do the year, some people don't. I didn't used to do the year, but now I do because I do so much updating in my store. I want people to see that they have the latest version. So I have been putting the year for the last couple of years. So I will change my font. I always use Arial for my basic font. And I do either 6 or 7. We're going to try 6. You can type over the font size here. I'm going to left or right justify that. And then just, I can't see that because my... You know what? Let me add that design tab back in. Hold on. Let me go back, close the master for a second. I can't see my whole slide because of my video down there, and that means you probably can't either, so we're just going to pop that over. Okay, we're going to go back to View, Slide Master, go up to my slide, and it's not showing it again. Well, I can't see it, but we're going to have to guesstimate it where it is. It means you probably can't see it either. The next thing I'm going to do is take that. I copied it and pasted a new one. And I'm going to left justify that one. And this is going to be the title of my resource. So let's say we're doing a resource on spiders. Spiders story time. I already have a spider story time, so won't be doing that. But anyway, we'll say that this is spider story time. And then the last thing I'm going to do is highlight both of those boxes. I'm going to go to Arrange and align them top, and then slide them down just a bit as far as I can go down without losing the thing, because this is going to be below my border. So now we're going to close the master view, and now you can see that that's messed up. So I'm going to go back to, what is it? View, slide master, and I need to fix that. It always does this. Okay, so let me try and fix that. I just need to go over, but I can't see it. So we're just going to guesstimate it and do the best we can. So let's see how that did. Okay, that's a little better. You know what to do there. Normally my picture won't be down here. So, okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add our header. So I recommend that every single slide in your presentation, whether you're presenting for students or for teachers or for your TPT products, that you have a header on every slide. Something to bring those, whatever's on that slide, something to bring it together. So this can be like, I'm doing a spiders presentation, so I'm going to insert a text box, and we're going to call it, whoops, there it is. All right, we're going to call it, it looks like it's upside down. No, maybe not. Okay, we're going to call this, I don't know, bodies. It is upside down. You know what? Just try it again. Insert text box, and we're going to draw it. And we're going to do bodies. So this slide is going to be about, we'll call it spider bodies, be a little more specific. And this is way too small for a header. I do like to keep my headers in uppercase letters so that it makes it really bold and makes it pop. But this is first needing to be centered. And you notice that I pulled my handles over. That helps to keep the text centered if you line it up to here or to the edge of the slide. And I'm going to center that. And then I'm going to make it much, much bigger. But before I do that, I need to choose a font. So in my products on Teachers Pay Teachers, I now always use the same font for my headers and the same font for my body text. There was a time that I used to use this, like I said, I had a product that I updated recently that had 16 fonts. It's crazy. Way too many. I bought all those fonts and I didn't need to do that. So this is the font that I like using is called KG blank space solid. And I will link this. Teachers can use this for free. If you are creating for your Teachers Pay Teachers store or for commercial purposes, you need to purchase the license, the commercial license for this. So I'm going to show you that. And I will link this in the description below as well. But this is the personal use KG blank space font. It'll also give you the sketch. I don't really use that, but a lot of people do like it. This is free. But if you go down a little bit into the description and you are going to, this is personal use only, and this does include your classroom use as well. But you can download, if you're using this for commercial purposes, you're going to want to buy the license, which is not cheap. I think I paid like $300 and it was many years ago. So it's probably more than that. But I bought all of her fonts. If you're just buying this one font, it's a lot less. It's like $5 or $10 now. I don't know exactly how much it is. So, but you can go here and purchase, well, we can look, let's see, purchase the single font. Yeah, it's $5. So if you're using this for commercial purposes and you want this font, $5 and you've got a commercial license. She's got a lot of different fonts on here. I have a license for all of them, but honestly, I only use this one, an Arial. So find a font that you really like, and that's the one. Just buy that license. I don't think you need all the fonts. Whoops, we'll come to that in a minute. Okay. So we've got our KG blank space solid. We're going to need to make that a lot bigger because there's a lot of students in the back of the room that are not going to be able to see it. So let's just make this as big and wide. I don't want to make it too big, but let's do that. And then we want to just kind of center it up a little bit. We don't want to go all the way to the top, but there we go. You can change the color here if you want to. I usually do change the color, but I like to wait until I have my image on there because then I'll match the color to the image. You do want to make sure on your fonts colors that you are using a dark font on a light background. And by light, I really like a white background most of the time. For most of my slides, the background is white. There'll be a few in the presentation sometimes that are a dark font or a dark background with a light font. But for the most part, I use this because it's easier for students to see. So now that we've got that, we're going to add our body text. So we need to add another text box. So insert text box. And I like to do, especially if I'm teaching this in my own classroom, I really like to just do bullet points because I know what I'm going to say. And if I have a lot of long text, the students are either not going to read it or they're going to sit there and read it while I'm talking and they're going to be distracted. So too much long text is not a good idea. This is definitely true if you are presenting for teachers. Please, please do not read your PowerPoint slides to students or to teachers. It is demeaning and it's boring and nobody's going to listen to you. So please don't do that. Please, please, please. Better to mess up than to do that. So if I'm making this for myself for teaching purposes or for teacher development that I might be teaching, I'm just using bullet points and they're quick. I might do 3 or 4 bullet points on a page. I'm going to make my font large enough for the people in the back. And if I need more than 3 or 4 fonts for that topic, that's just fine. I'll just create a new slide and do more bullet points on that slide about that topic. That's fine. When I do it in bullet points, these are for me. I know what I know about the topic and I don't need, these are just like reminders to make sure I say these things. If I'm creating this for Teachers Pay Teachers, I'm not there with the teacher in the classroom and I don't know what they already know about that topic. So there will be longer sentences, but I still try to make them as simple as possible for the teachers to have the information that they want, and then but it's still not a whole lot of text on a page. So there might only be 1 or 2 facts on something I'm making for Teachers Pay Teachers. So, all right, we're going to do bullet points. So we're going to go here. You can do numbers if you want to. I'm going to do bullet points. And let's say spider bodies, they have 3 body parts. They have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. And I don't know, they have, oh, you know what? Spiders don't have a thorax. They have 2 body parts. Science teachers, so sorry. I do know this. 2 body parts. They have a head and an abdomen. And they have 8 legs. There's my 3 facts for this slide. That is flexible. You can do 1 fact, you can do 2, 3, 4. I wouldn't do too many more than 3 or 4. So this is obviously way too small for the students in the back of the room. So we're going to change this. I told you I like Arial font. You need to use a font that is consistent throughout your products. So find a font that you really like that is easy and clear to read. You want to use, I really like Arial. There's been research that Arial is a good font for dyslexic students. So, but there are other fonts as well for dyslexic students that are good. So research and decide on a font that you want and use that font consistently. So personally, I like Arial. It's free. It's already probably on your computer. And now this is still way too small. And we also need to space this out because this is just all, we got all this space down here. So we don't need to make this small. So I'm going to go up to 32 looks too big to me. And then here's something really important. Change your spacing. Look how much better that looks now. We have, it's much bigger, easier for students to see. We're going to bring it down. And now we have very clear, this is what we're teaching, and these are the things we need students to know. There's nothing to distract them here. And then the last thing we're going to do, we have still a lot of space, so we're going to put an image. There are loads of places you can get images for free. Whether if you're a TPT seller and you're selling your stuff commercially, or it's for free in your TPT store, you really need to make sure you have the commercial rights, the rights to use that commercially. So look for public domain images. I'm going to give you some links, and I'm going to also link my blogs where I have some additional things for you on this topic. But make absolutely certain if you are selling your products or giving them away for free as a business, you must be using images that are legal, that you're legally allowed to use. So whether that's paying for them or using them from Pixabay or from Wikimedia Commons or whatever, you need to make sure that. I just can't emphasize that enough. I see a lot of teachers pay teachers stores using images that are absolutely not allowed, and they do get in trouble. People, they can and do get in trouble. You want to stay away from Dr. Seuss. You want to stay away from Pete the Cat. You want to stay away from Eric Carle, Harry Potter. These are some companies that are aggressive about, and it's their right to be that way. But they do really enforce their copyright. But it doesn't matter whether they enforce their copyright or not. You need to do the right thing and only use images that you have the permissions to use. Okay, that said, that's a big one. We're going to find an image. So I'm going to show you, we're going to go to Pixabay is one that I use. You still want to make sure when you're using Pixabay images that it's kind of hard to know because anybody can upload any image on here and it might be copyrighted. So what I do for Pixabay is I make sure that I'm not using any people in my image that can be recognized. If it's a shadow or like someone's ear or whatever, that's not going to be recognizable, but there need to be model releases on any images that you use with people. So on Pixabay, you have no idea if there's model releases here. So definitely stay away from using anything with people. You don't want to use anything with logos. I had a Halloween resource a while back that had an M&M's logo. I had to take that off because that was not, I don't have permission to use that. M&M's is trademarked. So you also want to make sure that when you're using the images, just look at the quality of the image. If it looks like it might be something that somebody would pay for, it might be something somebody would pay for. If you're in doubt and you really want to be safe, just take your own images. There's a lot of things we can take images of ourselves. And so that's also, and I do that as well. So we're going to go with spiders. And this is about spiders' bodies, this slide. So we need a slide that shows the whole spider and the body. So we're going to skip past this part because this is paid images. And unless you have a subscription to iStock, you won't be able to use that, or you want to buy one. So we're going to go to royalty-free images, and we need an entire body of a spider. So we can actually arrange this by horizontal or vertical orientation. We can do sizes, different colors. I just usually do all the images. You can also use these topics here to help narrow your search. But let's see. Let's find a good one. This one kind of good. These are pretty clear images. I really like these. Another good place, if you're doing something like spiders, you can go to Wikimedia Commons or Wikipedia and look up spiders, and there's pictures there that are also great for commercial use. If you are using these for your classroom or for teacher professional development, you're going to have more leeway on this because there's public domain, not public domain. There are losing the word here, but there are guidelines for teachers that allow certain uses in education. And if you're just using it in your classroom, it's okay to use. That word will come to me in a minute, but it's not right now. We're going to do this one. I kind of like this little guy. So you can download it if you want to. You actually don't need to do that for PowerPoint. I'm just going to right click on it, copy image, go to my PowerPoint, and I'm going to paste that little guy. He's super cute. I love spiders. And he's a little big. So he also has a lot of white space around him. So I might crop him a little bit. If you select the image and double click on it, it'll go to crop. I'm going to crop some of that out because it's not necessary. Let's do there and maybe like right here. So that just gives more emphasis on the little spider. I can actually make him quite a lot bigger because I have so much space on this slide. So I'm going to do that. And now I need to make my header much smaller because we can't see it. And we're going to move this over. And we can center this a little better. And we can even add a little bit more here if we want to or not. It's fine. And then now, remember how I made this box white on the fill when I did the fill color. So now I'm going to make the background behind it. This is really going to pull it all together. So what I'm going to do is go to Design, Format Background. And I'm going to use my eyedropper tool. So when I click on Color, I get Eyedropper. And I can pick up any of these little colors on this little spider. So I don't know, let's do this color. And then I'm going to make the font color match. I would only make the font color match if it wasn't a light font. Like if this was a light yellow, obviously we won't be able to see a light yellow header font. So it would make it a little darker or just leave it black. Okay, so there's our spider. Now notice I did cover up my copyright down here. If you're doing this for Teachers Pay Teachers, I don't mind that as long as it doesn't happen too much on a certain presentation because every slide now, remember, is going to have that copyright information because I did that in the view section. So now I'm just going to duplicate this by doing Control D, and it will duplicate the slide. So I don't need to recreate this from scratch. I'm not going to do this spider. And I can make this wide out again. You see my copyright is now showing again. And then now I can do different information. So let's say we do spider. What do spiders eat? Okay. And then we can, maybe we move this over here this time to give their eyes a little different place to look. And they eat insects, other spiders, and some spiders eat frogs, lizards, even birds. Wow. All right. So with this one, we're going to expand that out a little bit. I might make this a little bit smaller. Or it could be that I even take this one. You know what I'm going to do is delete that one. And I'm going to put that at the bottom, across the bottom. So we're just going to do that as a statement. Make it big. You don't want to make your font size bigger than your header. So I need to make my header bigger anyway. So we got like kind of a bonus information, and then we might add, I don't know, that they eat, I don't know, do any spiders eat plants? I have no idea. All right, so there we go. We're going to make this bigger. And let's go grab another picture. Let's do, oh, this one's super cute. Okay, little jumping spider. All right, so we're going to copy the image and come on there. I see that I can also crop this, so I'm going to double click the image to get the crop menu. And we're going to use these handles to just take that over. And you know what else we can do with this one? This is a nice picture, but I think this background, I just kind of boring. I'm going to brighten him up. So I'm going to go to the corrections and see how that brightens him up a bit. And you can kind of mouse over them and see, kind of like that one. Let's do that. And now we're going to have him here. Oh, there's my dog. Siski, stop that. Thank you, buddy. I don't know what he barks at. He barks at nothing all the time. Okay. My husband does YouTube as well, and he says that the Cisco is often featured with his barking in the videos. Thank you, buddy. Good job. Thank you. He's just protecting me from, I don't know what, paper bag or whatever's going down the street. All right, so this one, we have the same similar color of spider here, so I might not do a eyedropper tool here because it'll just be brown again, and I want these to be different colors. But this blue looks kind of nice. So I'm going to change that. And if you go over here to your colors, you can change that. You can see on my colors, I can choose the same color as that previous slide. It's now down there, the one that I did the eyedropper with, but we're not. Okay. So this kind of gives you an idea. I'm going to make this a series, I think, because there's so many tools and tips in PowerPoint that you can do. And I'll actually show you some ways to convert your PowerPoint into Google Slides and how to do these in Google. It's just a lot that I've learned over the years. But these are two really nice, clear PowerPoint slides that students can see from the back of the room, and they're eye-catching and really nice to look at. So I will put some links in the description, and I'm also doing a blog post on this very topic, and that will be linked in the description as well. If you like it, please like and subscribe, and keep an eye out because I will be adding some more videos like this in the very near future. Thank you so much for watching.